The university library closes at midnight on Thursdays, which means I have exactly 4 hours to finish my case study analysis, review tomorrow's ASL vocabulary quiz, and somehow find time to eat the granola bar that's been in my backpack since Tuesday. My stomach growls in protest as I spread my textbooks across the worn wooden table in the back corner of the 3rd floor. This spot has become my second home over the past 3 years. Quiet enough to focus, close enough to the outlets to keep my dying laptop alive, far enough from the circulation desk that the librarians don't notice when I stay past closing by hiding in the bathroom. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I love hearing from you. I pull up my assignment on childhood language disorders, squinting at the screen as my vision blurs from exhaustion. 18 credits this semester, plus 20 hours a week at the campus coffee shop, plus the tutoring sessions I pick up whenever I can. The math of my life doesn't add up to enough sleep or enough money, but it adds up to graduation in May. 5 more months. Just 5 more months until I'm Avery Blake, speech-language pathologist, instead of Avery Blake, perpetually broke student who eats ramen 4 nights a week. My phone buzzes. A text from my brother Marcus. Pizza money, please? I'm dying. I check my bank balance. $43 until my paycheck on Friday. $43 for 3 days of food, bus fare, and whatever unexpected disaster decides to crater my budget this week. Make spaghetti. There's sauce in the cabinet. We had spaghetti yesterday. Then make it taste different. 3 dots appear, then disappear. Marcus is 15, and growing at a rate that defies physics. Everything I earn goes into keeping him fed, clothed, and in the decent school district we moved to after our parents died 2 years ago. Car accident, drunk, driver. The kind of tragedy that happens to other people until it happens to you. I silence my phone and return to my assignment, but the words swim on the screen. I've read the same paragraph 4 times without retaining a single word. My brain feels like static. Too many channels playing at once. None of them clear. The library's fluorescent lights hum overhead, casting everything in harsh white that makes my headache worse. I should go home. Should sleep. Should stop pushing myself past the point where my body starts staging a rebellion. But the case study is due at 8 a.m., and Professor Mitchell doesn't accept late work, not even with a good excuse. Especially not with a good excuse, because she believes that real-world clinical practice doesn't pause for personal problems. I'm halfway through a paragraph about phonological disorders when my laptop makes a sound like a dying animal. The screen goes black. No, 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 no. I press the power button. Nothing. Press it again. Still, nothing. The charging light isn't on. I check the outlet, the cord, the connection. Everything looks fine, but my laptop, my 3-year-old laptop that I bought used and have been nursing along with prayers and desperation, has finally given up. For a long moment, I just sit there, staring at the black screen, feeling the weight of everything pressing down on my chest. The assignment due in 8 hours. The quiz tomorrow. The fact that I can't afford to replace this laptop, can't afford to miss deadlines, can't afford any of the things that keep breaking in my carefully balanced life. I will not cry in the university library. I have some dignity left. I pack up my books with shaking hands, sling my backpack over my shoulder, and head for the stairs. Maybe I can use one of the computer labs. Maybe they're open all night. Maybe I can find some solution that doesn't involve having a breakdown in public. The November air hits me like a slap when I step outside. Chicago in late. Autumn is unforgiving, all cutting wind and temperatures that promise the brutal winter to come. I pull my thin jacket tighter, wishing I'd saved money for a proper coat instead of spending it on Marcus's winter boots. The campus is nearly empty at this hour. Just scattered students hurrying between buildings, collars up against the cold, breath visible in the harsh glow of street lamps. I'm calculating bus schedules in my head whether I have time to go home, use Marcus's laptop, and make it back for my 8 a.m. class when I notice the flyer. It's taped to a bulletin board outside the student center. Bright yellow paper that stands out against the usual collage of roommate-wanted ads and textbook sales. Private tutor needed child with communication challenges. Sign language experience required. Excellent compensation. Immediate start. A phone number is printed at the bottom, along with tear-off tabs. Only 2 tabs are missing, which means this is a new posting. I pull out my phone and snap a picture before I can talk myself out of it. Excellent compensation probably means better than the $12 an hour I make at the coffee shop. And I do have sign language experience. I'm minoring in ASL. Have been since freshman year when I discovered I had a natural aptitude for it. But private tutoring for a child with communication challenges sounds intensive. Sounds like the kind of commitment that requires energy I'm not sure I have. My phone buzzes again. Marcus. Found $2 in my jacket. Getting chips from the vending machine. Don't be mad. $2. For chips. Because I can't afford to buy my 15-year-old brother actual food. I text the number from the flyer before I can overthink it. Hi. I saw you're posting for a tutor. I'm a senior in speech-language pathology at Northwestern. Fluent in ASL. Available immediately. Is the position still open? The response comes in less than 30 seconds. Yes. Interview tomorrow. 1 p.m. Address below. An address in the Gold Coast follows. The Gold Coast, where Chicago's wealthiest live in historic mansions and luxury high-rises overlooking Lake Michigan. Where people don't worry about laptop repairs or pizza money or whether they can afford winter coats. I have class until 2. Could we do 2:30? Another immediate response. 2:30 works. Ask for Victor Marchetti at the door. Victor Marchetti. The name sounds vaguely familiar, but I can't place it. Probably some tech millionaire or hedge fund manager. The kind of person who posts job listings with excellent compensation because they throw money at problems until they disappear. I pocket my phone and start the long walk to the bus stop, trying not to think about what excellent compensation might actually mean, trying not to hope too much, because hope has a way of making disappointment hurt worse. The address leads me to a limestone mansion that takes up half a city block. It's the kind of building that belongs in period dramas about American aristocracy, all elegant stonework and wrought iron gates and windows that probably cost more than my entire education. I stand on the sidewalk for a full minute, double-checking the address, wondering if I've made a mistake. A man in a dark suit emerges from a security booth I hadn't noticed. He's broad-shouldered and watchful, with the kind of posture that suggests military or police background. Can I help you? His tone is professional but not particularly welcoming. I have an appointment. 2:30. I'm here to see Victor Marchetti about a tutoring position. He speaks into a radio I can't see, then nods. Name? Avery Blake. He checks something on a tablet, then gestures toward the gate. Someone will meet you at the door. The gate swings open with a quiet mechanical hum. I walk up a stone path flanked by meticulously maintained gardens, even in November. Everything about this place screams money, not new money trying to impress, but old. Money that doesn't need to. The front door opens before I reach it. A woman in her 50s, dressed in elegant slacks and a cashmere sweater, smiles warmly. Miss Blake? I'm Teresa. Please, come in. The foyer is all marble floors and crystal chandeliers and artwork that looks like it belongs in museums. I'm suddenly aware of my worn jeans, my practical but shabby jacket, my backpack with the broken zipper I keep meaning to fix. Mr. Marchetti will be with you shortly, Teresa says, leading me through corridors that seem to go on forever. He's just finishing a call. Can I get you anything? Coffee? Tea? Water? Water would be great, thank you. She shows me into a library that's bigger than my entire apartment. Floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, leather furniture, windows overlooking gardens that stretch toward the lake. I accept the water glass she brings, and try not to feel completely out of my depth. I'm examining a first edition Hemingway when I hear footsteps. Miss Blake. The voice is deep, authoritative, with the faintest trace of an accent that suggests Italian heritage. I turn around. Victor Marchetti is probably in his late 30s, tall and imposing in an immaculately tailored charcoal suit. Dark hair touched with gray at the temples, strong features that might be handsome if they weren't so severe, and eyes dark, intense eyes that seem to assess everything about me in a single glance. There's something else, too. An air of controlled power, of danger barely contained. This is not a tech millionaire or hedge fund manager. This is someone who commands fear disguised as respect. Mr. Marchetti. I extend my hand, keeping my voice steady despite the way my instincts are screaming that I've walked into something I don't understand. Thank you for seeing me. His handshake is firm, brief. You're a student at Northwestern? Yes. Senior year, speech-language pathology major, ASL minor. If you find this story engaging, please take a moment to subscribe and enable notifications. It helps us continue producing in-depth content like this. I've worked with children with various communication disorders during my obinits. Clinical rotations. Have you heard of me? The question is direct, almost challenging. I hesitate. Your name sounds familiar, but I can't place it. Something that might be approval flickers across his face. Good. That means you're here for the job, not for other reasons. Other reasons? What other reasons? I need someone to work with my daughter, he continues, moving to the window overlooking the gardens. Sofia. She's 7. She hasn't spoken in 2 years. My professional instincts kick in, overriding my nervousness. Has she been evaluated by a speech-language pathologist? There are many approaches to selective mutism. It's not selective mutism. His voice hardens. She's physically capable of speech. She chooses not to. Because of trauma. The way he says trauma makes it clear this isn't a topic open for discussion. I see. And you want someone to teach her sign language as an alternative communication method? Yes. She's been isolated, falling behind in school, frustrated because she can't express herself. Her teachers suggested sign language months ago. He pauses, jaw tightening. Resistant. Because teaching her to sign feels like accepting that she'll never speak again. There's pain in his voice. Carefully controlled but unmistakable. Whatever happened to his daughter, whatever trauma silenced her, haunts him too. Sign language doesn't have to be permanent, I say gently. Many children with selective mutism or trauma-related communication difficulties use it as a bridge. It gives them a voice while they're healing. Sometimes having that outlet actually helps them feel safe enough to speak again. He turns from the window, those dark eyes fixing on me with renewed intensity. You believe that? I've seen it happen. Not always, but often enough that it's worth trying. For a long moment, he studies me. I have the unsettling feeling that he's reading not just my words but my intentions, my character, everything I'm trying to keep. Hidden behind professional competence. The position is 4 afternoons a week, he says finally. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. 3 to 6 p.m. You'll work with Sofia on sign language, help her with homework, provide companionship. $50 an hour. I nearly choke on the water I'm sipping. $50 an hour. That's more than I make in an entire day at the coffee shop. That's extremely generous. It's appropriate compensation for someone qualified and trustworthy. He moves to his desk, pulls out a folder. You'll need to sign an NDA. My daughter's privacy is paramount. You don't discuss her, this family, or anything you see or hear in this house with anyone. Violation results in immediate termination and legal consequences. The way he says legal consequences sends a chill down my spine. Of course, client privacy is fundamental in my field. He slides the papers across the desk. I read through them carefully, force of habit from years of being broke and unable to afford lawyers if something goes wrong. The terms are exactly as he stated. Generous pay, strict confidentiality, immediate termination for breach of trust. I sign. When can you start? He asks. Tomorrow? Tomorrow. He nods once, decisive. Teresa will give you all the details. Gate code, schedule, Sofia's background information. He extends his hand again. Welcome to the family, Miss Blake. The phrasing strikes me as odd. Welcome to the family, not welcome to the team or welcome aboard. But I shake his hand, thank him, and follow Teresa out of the library. It's only later, on the bus ride home with a folder full of information and the promise of $200 a day, that I realize I never did place where I'd heard the name Victor Marchetti. I pull out my phone and search. The results make my blood run cold. Victor Marchetti, suspected head of the Marchetti crime family. Alleged involvement in racketeering, money laundering, and organized crime operations throughout Chicago and the Midwest. Never convicted, never even formally charged, but the whispers are everywhere. I've just agreed to work for the Mafia. I should back out. Should text him right now and say I've made a mistake, that I can't take the position. But then I think about Marcus eating chips for dinner, about my dead laptop and my overdue rent and the impossible mathematics of surviving on minimum wage. And I think about a 7-year-old girl who hasn't spoken in 2 years, who's isolated and frustrated and trapped in silence. $50 an hour, 4 days a week, 12 hours total. $600 a week, $2,400 a month. That's rent and food and a new laptop and Marcus's school expenses and maybe, finally, the ability to breathe without calculating every dollar. I don't text Victor Marchetti to back out. I go home and tell Marcus we're having real pizza for dinner. The Gold Coast mansion looks even more intimidating in daylight. I stand at the gate at exactly 2:55 p.m., clutching my backpack full of ASL flashcards, children's books, and every ounce of confidence I can fake. The same security guard from yesterday. I catch his name tag, reads. Dom nods in recognition and opens the gate without making me announce myself. Progress, I suppose. Teresa meets me at the door with the same warm smile. But today I notice the efficiency in her movements. The way her eyes scan me quickly before stepping aside to let me enter. Sofia's in the sunroom, she says, leading me through the maze of corridors I barely remember from yesterday. Mr. Marchetti wanted to introduce you properly, but he's been delayed. A business matter. Business matter, right. The kind that involves alleged racketeering and organized crime. I spent half the night researching Victor Marchetti after my initial shock wore off. The articles were all careful, full of alleged and suspected and sources say. But the pattern was clear. The Marchetti family has controlled significant portions of Chicago's underground economy for 3 generations. Victor took over 7 years ago when his father died, and by all accounts, he's been even more successful and more ruthless than his predecessor. And now I'm about to tutor his traumatized daughter in sign language. The sunroom is beautiful, all windows and natural light, filled with plants and comfortable furniture that actually looks used, unlike the museum-perfect formality of the rest of the house. A small figure sits curled in a window seat, dark hair falling forward to hide her face, a tablet on her lap. Sofia, Teresa says gently, your new tutor is here. This is Miss Blake. The girl doesn't look up, doesn't acknowledge us at all. Her fingers move across the tablet screen with deliberate focus, like she's trying to pretend we don't exist. I'll leave you to get acquainted, Teresa says, squeezing my shoulder in a gesture that feels like good luck and warning combined. I'll be in the kitchen if you need anything. Then I'm alone with Sofia Marchetti, who still hasn't looked at me. I set my backpack down and move slowly to a chair across from her window seat, close enough to be present, far enough not to be invasive. Hi, Sofia, I say, keeping my voice calm and friendly. My name is Avery. I'm here to help you learn sign language, if you'd like to learn. Nothing. Her fingers keep moving across the tablet, but I notice they've slowed slightly. I brought some books, I continue, pulling out a colorful picture book about emotions. And some games. But we don't have to do anything you don't want to do. Today is just about getting to know each other. Still nothing. But her fingers have stopped moving entirely. She's listening, even if she won't show it. I take a breath and switch tactics. My hands begin to move, forming signs as I speak. This is hello. I sign it clearly, deliberately. And this is my name. I fingerspell Avery. What's your name? For the first time, Sofia's head tilts slightly. Not quite looking at me, but acknowledging I exist. I know your name is Sofia. I sign and say simultaneously. But I'd love it if you showed me. This is how you spell it. I fingerspell Sofia, slowly, clearly. Can you try? Silence. Several long seconds where I think I've pushed too hard, too fast. Then, tentatively, her hand lifts from the tablet. Her fingers form the letter S, shaky but correct. Then O, then F. She stops, hand dropping back to her lap like the effort exhausted her. That was perfect. I sign, letting genuine enthusiasm show on my face. Really perfect, Sofia. You're a natural. The smallest hint of a smile ghosts across her face before disappearing. We sit in comfortable quiet for a moment. I've learned from my clinical rotations that silence isn't always a problem to fix. Sometimes it's a space where trust can grow. I have a younger brother named Marcus, I say, signing along. He's 15. He talks so much that sometimes I wish he'd be quiet for 5 minutes. I smile, but I love him anyway. Do you have any brothers or sisters? Sofia shakes her head. Her eyes meet mine for just a second. Dark eyes like her father's, but full of sadness that 7-year-olds shouldn't carry. Just you and your dad. She nods. That must be nice sometimes. You get him all to yourself. Her expression clouds, and I realize I've stumbled onto complicated territory. Whatever happened to her mother, whatever trauma stole Sofia's voice, I'm not equipped to handle it on day one. Hey, I sign, redirecting. Want to see something cool? Interest flickers in her eyes. She nods cautiously. I pull out my phone and open a video I'd saved last night, a children's song performed entirely in sign language, colorful and engaging and age-appropriate. I set the phone where Sofia can see it and start signing along with the video. By the second verse, her hands are twitching, unconsciously mimicking some of the signs. By the third verse, she's actively following along, stumbling over the unfamiliar movements but trying. When the video ends, she looks at me with something that might be hope. Want to watch it again? I ask, signing. She nods enthusiastically. We watch it 3 more times. Each repetition, she gets more confident, more fluid. Her whole body language shifts from defensive and closed to engaged and curious. This, right here, this is why I'm studying speech-language pathology. This moment when a child who's been trapped in silence finds a new way to have a voice. You're doing amazing. I sign after the 4th viewing. Tomorrow we can learn more signs. As many as you want. We can go as fast or as slow as you like. This is all for you, Sofia. Whatever you need. She looks at me for a long moment, assessing. Then her hands move deliberately, forming careful signs. Thank you. My throat tightens unexpectedly. You're welcome. We spend the next hour working through basic signs, emotions, family members, simple requests. Sofia absorbs everything like a sponge. Her natural intelligence obvious despite the communication barriers she's faced. She corrects her own mistakes, practices signs repeatedly until she gets them right, asks questions by pointing and looking at me expectantly. When she signs happy and actually smiles, I feel like I've won something more valuable than any paycheck. At 5:30, Teresa brings in juice and cookies. Sofia immediately signs thank you to her, and Teresa's eyes well with tears. She's never. Teresa stops, composes herself. That's wonderful, sweetheart. I'm packing up my materials at 6 when I hear footsteps in the hallway. Heavy, purposeful footsteps that make Sofia's whole body tense. Victor Marchetti appears in the doorway, still in his suit from whatever business matter delayed him. His eyes go immediately to his daughter, his expression softening in a way that's almost startling. Papa, Sofia signs without thinking. Then, looks surprised at herself. Victor goes very still. Did she just... She learned father today, I say quietly. She's been practicing. He moves into the room with careful control, like he's afraid any sudden movement might shatter this moment. He crouches in front of Sofia's window seat, eye level with her. Say it again, he asks, his voice rough with emotion. Please, Piccola. Sofia's hands move. Papa. I watch Victor Marchetti, alleged crime lord, feared throughout Chicago's underworld break. His eyes close, his jaw clenches. When he opens his eyes again, they're bright with unshed tears. That's perfect, baby girl, he whispers. That's so perfect. Sofia launches herself at him, small arms wrapping around his neck. He catches her effortlessly, holds her like she's the most precious thing in existence, and for a moment I feel like I'm intruding on something too intimate for witnesses. I pick up my backpack quietly, preparing to slip out and give them privacy. Miss Blake. I freeze. Victor's voice is still rough, but it carries authority even while he's holding his daughter. Thank you. He looks at me over Sofia's head, and the intensity in his gaze is overwhelming. Thank you for giving her this. She did all the work, I say honestly. She's incredibly bright and motivated. I'm just giving her tools, still. His hand moves on Sofia's back, protective and gentle. Thank you. Teresa walks me out, pressing an envelope into my hands at the door. Tomorrow's payment, she says. Mr. Marchetti wanted you to have it now. I open it in the car service Victor apparently arranged to drive me home because of course he did. $600 in crisp bills. 3 days of work. More money than I've ever held at once in my adult life. I think about Sofia signing Papa, about Victor's barely controlled emotion, about the way this terrifying man becomes someone completely different around his daughter. I think about how dangerous it is to see the humanity in people whose lives operate outside the law, and I think about Marcus, waiting at home, and how I can finally afford to keep him fed. I don't feel guilty about taking Mafia money. I feel relieved. By the end of the first week, Sofia has learned over 60 signs. Her vocabulary explodes daily, her natural intelligence finally finding an outlet. She signs constantly now, not just to me, but to Teresa, to Dom, the security guard who started learning basic signs from a book, even to her father when he's home. Victor attends our sessions when he can, sitting quietly in the corner, watching his daughter discover language. I catch him practicing signs when he thinks I'm not looking, his large hands moving with surprising grace through the alphabet, through basic phrases. On Friday, as I'm packing up, he asks me to stay for a moment. Sofia's homework, he says, pulling out her school assignments. She's been falling behind. Her teacher sends work home, but Sofia won't engage with it. Won't write, won't complete assignments. I look through the papers. 2nd grade math, reading comprehension, Simple writing prompts, all blank. She can't participate because she can't ask questions or express when she doesn't understand. I observe. Plus, there's probably frustration and anxiety around anything school-related at this point. Can you help with that too? His gaze is direct, intense. Not just the sign language, but getting her back on track academically? That's more tutoring than speech therapy. I'll pay more. That's not... I stop, choose my words carefully. I'm happy to help Sofia with homework, but what she really needs is to be back in school, around other children, using these new communication skills in a real environment. His expression hardens immediately. No. Mr. Marchetti, no schools, no public places where I can't control who has access to her. His voice leaves no room for argument. It's not safe. Not safe because of who he is, what he does, the enemies that come with controlling Chicago's criminal underworld. Then maybe a private tutor for academics? I suggest. Someone who can come here, work with her in a secure environment but give her more structured learning? You're suggesting I hire someone else? I'm suggesting Sofia needs more support than I can provide alone. I'm good with sign language and communication therapy, but I'm not qualified to teach second-grade curriculum across all subjects. He's quiet for a long moment, studying me with that unsettling intensity. You're honest, he says finally. You could have taken the extra money, done mediocre work she wouldn't know was mediocre, and I'd have paid you anyway. That wouldn't help Sofia. No, it wouldn't. He pulls out his phone, makes a note. I'll find an academic tutor. You continue with communication. But I'm increasing your rate anyway. $60 an hour. You're more valuable than I initially assessed. $60 an hour. I'm about to protest that it's too much, but he's already turned away. Conversation over. Decision made. That's when I notice Sofia in the doorway, watching us with those solemn dark eyes. Her hands move in a question she's been practicing. Why sad? It takes me a moment to realize she's asking about me. I'm not sad. I sign back, smiling. Worried, she clarifies, signing the emotion we learned Wednesday. Why worried? How do you explain to a 7-year-old that you're worried about falling deeper into her father's world? That taking more money, becoming more essential, means becoming more entangled with people whose business involves violence and crime? Just thinking about homework. I sign instead. But your papa is going to find someone to help you. That's good, right? She nods, but her expression suggests she doesn't quite believe me. Children are perceptive, especially traumatized ones who've learned to read emotions and intentions for survival. Week 2 brings Dimitri, the academic tutor Victor hired after what I imagine was an extremely thorough vetting process. He's in his 50s, former university professor, patient and knowledgeable, and clearly experienced with children who have special needs. He's also obviously terrified of Victor Marchetti. You've been here 2 weeks? He asks me quietly while Sofia works on a math worksheet. And you're comfortable? Comfortable is a strong word, I admit. But Sofia is wonderful, and Mr. Marchetti has been nothing but professional. You know who he is, though. What he does. I know what he's alleged to do. I correct carefully, aware that walls might have ears in this house. I know what I've been hired to do, which is help his daughter. That's all I focus on. Dimitri doesn't look convinced, but he drops the subject. The truth is more complicated than I made it sound. Yes, I know what Victor Marchetti does. I've done more research over the past 2 weeks, careful research, using incognito browsers and public Wi-Fi, because I'm not stupid enough to search Mafia boss from my own laptop in my own apartment. The Marchetti family controls the ports, several unions, and has significant influence in construction and waste management throughout Chicago. They operate through legitimate businesses that serve as fronts for money laundering and other activities. Victor specifically is known for being strategic rather than violent, for preferring negotiation to warfare, but also for being absolutely ruthless when crossed. 2 rival family members disappeared last year after attempting to move into Marchetti territory. They were never found. I should be terrified. Should have walked away after day 1. But every afternoon, I watch Victor become someone different around Sofia. I watch him practice signs at his desk while taking business calls. Watch him read her bedtime stories in sign language, his movements still clumsy but improving. Watch the way he looks at her like she's the only thing in his world that matters more than power. And I watch Sofia come alive. She laughs now silent laughter, but real joy. She initiates conversations through signs, asks questions, tells stories about her day. She hugs me when I arrive. shows me drawings she's made, teaches Dimitri signs so he can communicate with her better during lessons. This is what I'm supposed to do with my degree, help children find their voices, literally or figuratively. The fact that this particular child's father runs a criminal empire doesn't change that she deserves support and care. At least that's what I tell myself when the guilt creeps in at 3 a.m. On Thursday of week 2, Sofia's progress is interrupted by an incident that reminds me exactly how dangerous this world really is. I'm in the sunroom working on emotional vocabulary with Sofia when I hear shouting from somewhere else in the house. Male voices, angry and overlapping. Then something crashes, glass breaking, furniture overturning. Sofia's eyes go wide with terror. Her whole body locks up, hands frozen mid-sign. "It's okay," I say quickly, moving closer to her. "It's okay, Sofia. You're safe." But she's not listening. She's gone somewhere else entirely, her breathing rapid and shallow, her eyes unfocused. I recognize the signs of a panic attack, of trauma response. I just pull her into my arms, holding her tight, signing safe against her back over and over, even though she can't see my hands. "You're safe. You're safe. I've got you." The shouting gets closer. I hear Victor's voice now, cold and dangerous in a way I've never heard before. "Get him out of my house, now." Before I forget, there are rules about killing people in front of witnesses. More sounds of struggle. Then Teresa appears in the doorway, face pale. "Take Sofia upstairs," she says urgently. "Her room. Lock the door. Don't come out until Mr. Marchetti comes for you." I scoop Sofia up. She's small enough that I can carry her and follow Teresa's rapid directions up a back staircase I didn't know existed. Sofia's room is at the end of a long hallway, beautiful and full of toys and books and everything a child could want except the voice to enjoy them properly. I lock the door as instructed and sit on the floor with Sofia still in my arms, rocking her gently while I sign safe and Papa will protect us, and every reassuring phrase I can think of. We stay like that for 20 minutes that feel like hours. Finally, a firm knock at the door. "Sofia, Miss Blake." "It's me," Victor's voice. Back to controlled calm, but with an edge underneath that suggests violence barely leashed. I unlock the door. He stands in the hallway, his suit jacket gone, his white shirt splattered with something dark that might be blood. But his expression when he sees Sofia is pure anguish. "Piccola," he signs, dropping to his knees in front of where I'm sitting with her. "I'm so sorry you heard that." Sofia's hands move in a question I've been dreading. "Like Mama?" Victor goes absolutely still. The color drains from his face. "No," he signs firmly, though his hands are shaking. "Nothing like Mama. You're safe. That man was trying to hurt our family, but he's gone now. He can never hurt you." Sofia looks between us, processing, then signs something that breaks my heart. "Miss Avery stayed." "Yes," Victor says, his dark eyes meeting mine with something I can't interpret. "Miss Avery kept you safe." I don't mention that I had no idea what I was doing, that I was just as terrified, that keeping Sofia calm was pure instinct, because I had no actual plan for protecting a child from whatever violence was happening downstairs. "I'm going to clean up," Victor says, rising. "Teresa will bring dinner up here tonight. Miss Blake, I'd like you to stay until Sofia's calm enough to sleep." "It's not a request." "Of course." He leaves, and I'm alone with Sofia again, trying to pretend my hands aren't shaking, that I didn't just hear Victor Marchetti casually reference killing someone in front of witnesses. Sofia signs a statement, not a question this time. "You were scared." I could lie. Could maintain the adult pretense that I'm always in control, always capable. Instead, I sign honestly. "Yes, I was scared, but your papa made sure we were safe." She considers this, then nods. Papa always keeps safe. The absolute trust in her signing, in her expression, reminds me that this is her normal, that violence and danger are background noise to her existence, that she's already learned that some people protect and some people hurt, and she's lucky enough to have a father who falls into the first category at least where she's concerned. I stay until 9 p.m., long past when I should have left, reading stories and signing silly songs, until Sofia's eyes finally close in exhausted sleep. Victor is waiting in the hallway when I emerge. "Thank you," he says quietly, "for staying with her, for keeping her calm." "What happened?" I ask, then immediately regret it. "I'm sorry. That's not my business." "A business associate made a very poor decision," Victor interrupts, his voice flat. "He thought he could leverage my daughter's situation for better terms. He was wrong. He's been corrected. Corrected. The euphemism hangs in the air between us. Sofia asked if it was like mama. I say carefully, I don't know what that means, but she was terrified. Pain flashes across his face, quickly suppressed. Her mother died 2 years ago. During a home invasion, Sofia witnessed it. My stomach drops. Oh God, 3 men, rivals trying to send a message. His hands clench into fists. They didn't know Sofia was home. She hid in a closet and watched through the crack in the door while He stops, jaw working. She hasn't spoken since that night. Suddenly everything makes sense. The mansion's extreme security. Victor's refusal to let Sofia attend school. His controlled rage when someone threatened his family. The way Sofia reacted to violent sounds. I'm so sorry, I whisper. Inadequate words for unimaginable trauma. My wife was collateral damage in my world, Victor says, each word precisely controlled. Sofia lost her mother because of what I am, what I do. I can't change that. Can't bring her back. But I will do everything in my power to make sure Sofia never experiences that kind of terror again. He looks at me directly, and I see something in his expression that's almost like vulnerability. You stayed with her today. When you could have run, when you had every reason to be afraid, you stayed and kept her safe. That means something. I wasn't going to leave a scared child. Most people would have. His voice is certain. Most people, when confronted with violence in my world, choose self-preservation. You chose Sofia. That means you're family now. Family. The same word he used when I was hired, but now it carries different weight. Mr. Marchetti, Victor. He corrects. If you're family, you call me Victor. I should object. Should maintain professional boundaries. Should recognize that becoming family to a man like Victor Marchetti is probably more dangerous than remaining an employee. But I think about Sofia signing Miss Avery stayed, with such trust and relief. I think about how I've already crossed lines I can't uncross. Victor, I agree quietly. He nods once, satisfied. Good. Now come downstairs. We need to talk about your safety. The kitchen is the warmest room I've seen in this mansion. Professional-grade appliances, but also evidence of actual use. Fresh pasta drying on racks. Herbs growing in pots on the windowsill. Family photos on the refrigerator, including several of a beautiful dark-haired woman who must be Sofia's mother. Teresa is making coffee. Dom sits at the kitchen table. And another man I haven't met, late 20s, with similar features to Victor, leans against the counter. My brother, Marco? Victor introduces him. And you've met Teresa and Dom. My inner circle. Family, he means. The people who know everything, who handle the dangerous parts, who protect what matters. What happened today was a reminder, Victor says, accepting coffee from Teresa, that my world has consequences. People know Sofia has a tutor now. Eventually, they'll know that tutor is you, which means you need protection. I don't need. Yes, you do. His tone leaves no room for argument. Starting tomorrow, Dom or someone from my security team drives you to and from this house. No more buses, no more walking alone. That's excessive. It's necessary. Marco interrupts. Anyone who wants to hurt Victor will look for leverage. Sofia is the obvious target, but she's too well protected. You're newer, more vulnerable. You're also clearly important to Sofia, which makes you a secondary target. The logic is sound, but I don't want to accept it. Don't want to acknowledge that tutoring a 7-year-old has made me a target for organized crime. What about my brother? The question bursts out before I can stop it. If I'm at risk, Marcus is too. Victor exchanges a look with Dom. The boy you're raising? 15, attends Lincoln Park High School. Ice floods my veins. How do you? Background check before I hired you, Victor says calmly. Standard procedure. I know about your parents' accident, your financial situation, your brother's academic record. I know you work 20 hours a week at a coffee shop and carry 18 credit hours. I know you've never been arrested, never defaulted on a loan, never given anyone reason to doubt your character. You investigated me. Of course I investigated you. I don't let strangers near my daughter. He doesn't sound apologetic. But now circumstances have changed. Marco, arrange security for the brother. Discreet, nothing that will alarm him, but enough to ensure no one uses him as leverage. Wait, I protest. Non-negotiable, Victor says firmly. Your safety and your brother's safety are now my responsibility. Your family, Avery. That means you're protected. All of you. I should be angry about the invasion of privacy, the presumption, the way my entire life has been reorganized without my consent. Instead, I feel something uncomfortably close to relief. Because Marcus is protected. Because I don't have to ride buses late at night wondering if someone's following me. Because the weight of keeping us both safe alone has been crushing me for 2 years, and suddenly someone else is offering to help carry it. The coffee shop, I say weakly. I can't just quit. I need. You're making more working for me than you were there, Victor points out. But if you want to keep the job for routine, for normalcy, that's fine. Security will adjust. Just understand that wherever you go, we're watching. Not to control you, he adds before I can object. To keep you safe. Teresa refills my coffee cup with motherly efficiency. It's not as bad as it sounds, she says gently. You get used to it. And it's better than constantly looking over your shoulder. How long have you worked here? I ask her. 20 years. Since before Sofia was born. She smiles. Victor's father hired me. Victor kept me on when he took over because I'm family. Real family, not just employees who've proven loyal. And you're okay with everything? Everything. Being the violence, the crime, the danger that comes with proximity to power built on illegal foundations. Teresa's expression grows serious. I watched this family rise from nothing. Watched Victor's grandfather struggle to feed his children. Watched his father build something that gave their community jobs and protection when no one else would. Yes, there's darkness here. But there's also loyalty and honor and genuine love. That matters more than you'd think. She's not wrong. I've seen Victor with Sofia. I've seen the way his people treat him. Not with fear alone, but with respect and genuine affection. There's something here beyond simple criminal enterprise. But that doesn't make it less dangerous. What happened to the man today? I ask Victor quietly. The one who threatened Sofia? His expression goes cold. He's been handled. He won't be a problem again. Handled, meaning dead. Probably. Almost certainly. I should be horrified. Should demand details. Should threaten to go to the police. Instead, I think about Sofia hiding in a closet watching her mother die. About a 7-year-old who hasn't spoken in 2 years because of trauma inflicted by Victor's enemies. And I find I don't have much sympathy for someone who tried to use that child as leverage. Okay, I hear myself say. Security for me and Marcus. Rides to and from the house. But I'm keeping my coffee shop job. And I don't want Marcus to know about any of this. He's 15. He doesn't need to know his sister works for I Stop. For the Mafia. Victor finishes calmly. Say it, Avery. If you're going to be part of this family, you need to be honest about what that means. For the Mafia. I repeat, the word feeling surreal in my mouth. He doesn't need to know his sister works for the Mafia. Victor nods, satisfied. Agreed. The boy stays ignorant for now. Safer that way. Dom drives me home that night in a car that costs more than my entire education. He's quiet, professional, and scans every street we pass with practiced vigilance. When we pull up to my modest apartment building, he says, "There'll be someone outside watching overnight. You won't see them, but they're there. Emergency number is programmed in your phone already, Dom Security." One call, immediate response. I look at my phone. Sure enough, there's a new contact I didn't add. "How did you? We're good at what we do?" He says simply. "Get some sleep, Miss Blake. Tomorrow's another day." Inside, Marcus is on the go, couch playing video games. He barely looks up when I enter. "Fancy car?" he comments around a mouthful of pizza. "Your rich student family?" "Yeah," I say, grateful. He's not more observant. "They sent a car. Traffic was bad." "Cool. Can you ask if they need a lawnmower? I could use extra cash." I laugh despite everything. I'll ask. That night, lying in bed, I text Victor a question I've been holding on to. "Why did you really increase my pay?" His response comes immediately, despite it being past midnight. "Because Sofia said you smell like lavender and it makes her feel safe. Because when danger came, you protected her instead of yourself. Because you're exactly what she needs, and keeping you here is worth any price." I stare at the message for a long time. Then I type, "Thank you for protecting Marcus. Thank you for protecting Sofia. Sleep well, Avery. You're safe now." I do sleep. Better than I have in weeks. Because for the first time since my parents died, someone else is helping carry the weight. Even if that someone is the head of Chicago's most powerful crime family. 3 weeks into working for the Marchetti family, I stop flinching when Dom picks me up in the morning. I stop second-guessing every decision that led me here. I stop pretending this is temporary. Sofia's progress is remarkable. She's learned over 200 signs, communicates fluently about her needs and feelings, and has started engaging with schoolwork again. Dimitri reports that she's caught up academically and actually exceeding grade-level expectations in reading comprehension. More importantly, she's happy. She runs to greet me every afternoon, signs excitedly about her day, shows me drawings and craft projects. She started playing with her toys again, instead of just sitting motionless in her window seat. She laughs silent, but real. Victor notices everything. He thanks me at least once a week, his gratitude both touching and uncomfortable because I'm just doing my job. Except it stopped being just a job somewhere around day 3, and we both know it. The Thursday of week 3, I arrive to find the house in chaos, controlled chaos, but chaos nonetheless. Men in suits I don't recognize fill the hallways. Teresa looks stressed. Dom is on high alert, hand never far from the weapon I now know he carries. What's happening? I ask Teresa quietly. Family meeting, she says, the capital F audible in her tone. The other families. Territory negotiations. Victor's been preparing for weeks. Other families, meaning other organized crime operations. Territory negotiations, meaning discussions about who controls what illegal enterprises. Should I come back another day? No. Victor appears from his office, looking like he hasn't slept. Sofia needs routine, especially today. Keep her upstairs, away from the meetings. I'll check in when I can. Of course. I find Sofia in her room, already agitated. She signs rapidly. Loud. Scared. Bad men? Not bad men, I sign back, though I'm not entirely sure that's true. Business. Your papa is working. We'll stay up here and practice new signs. Okay? She nods reluctantly. We work on animal signs for an hour, Sofia's favorite topic. She particularly loves the sign for butterfly, her small hands mimicking wings. We're deep into creating stories about different animals when I hear raised voices from downstairs. Not shouting exactly, but heated discussion in Italian. Words I don't understand, but the tone is universally clear disagreement bordering on confrontation. Sofia's hands still. Her eyes go wide. It's okay, I sign quickly. Just talking. Very loud talking, but just talking. She doesn't believe me. I can see the panic starting to build in her expression, the same look she had during the incident 2 weeks ago. I pull her into my lap, start signing a story about a brave butterfly who learned to fly even when she was scared. It's improvised and probably ridiculous, but Sofia focuses on my hands, on the narrative, gradually relaxing. We're halfway through the story when the door opens. I expect Teresa. Instead, a man I've never seen before stands in the doorway, late 50s, expensive suit, cold eyes that assess Sofia and me with predatory interest. So this is the famous daughter, he says in accented English. Eastern European, maybe Russian. And the tutor everyone talks about. Every instinct I have screams danger. I shift Sofia behind me, positioning myself between her and this stranger. This is a private area, I say, keeping my voice steady. Family only. But I am family. His smile doesn't reach his eyes. Business family. I'm Alexei Volkov. I have interests that align with Victor's. Usually. Volkov. I've heard that name in the news. Russian organized crime, trying to expand into Chicago, constant friction with established Italian families like the Marchettis. Mr. Marchetti didn't mention you'd be coming upstairs. I say carefully. Mr. Marchetti doesn't control everything, despite what he thinks. Volkov takes a step into the room. The girl, she really doesn't speak? She's learning sign language. I pull out my phone, thumb finding the Dom security contact, and this conversation is over. Please leave. Protective. He looks amused. Victor inspires such loyalty. I wonder what he offers in return. Before I can respond, Dom appears behind Volkov, hand on his weapon. Mr. Volkov, the meeting is downstairs. This area is off limits. I was just leaving. Volkov's eyes linger on Sofia one more moment. Beautiful child. It would be terrible if anything happened to her. The threat is barely veiled. Dom's expression goes cold. Downstairs. Now. After they leave, I lock the door and pull Sofia close. My hands are shaking. She notices, signs a question. Why scared? That man was rude. I sign, simplifying. But he's gone now. Your papa won't let him come back. I text Victor immediately. Man named Volkov came to Sofia's room. Dom handled it, but it was threatening. Sofia is shaken. The response is instant. Stay with her. Lock the door. I'm coming. 5 minutes later, Victor appears, his controlled fury palpable even before he enters the room. Behind him, Marco looks equally dangerous. Sofia runs to her father, and he lifts her effortlessly, signing while he holds her. Did that man hurt you? She shakes her head. Did he scare you? She nods. I'm sorry, Piccola. He won't come near you again. That's a promise. He sets her down gently, then turns to me. What happened? Exactly. I relay the conversation, including Volkov's thinly veiled threat. Victor's jaw tightens with each detail. Marco, he says quietly, end the meeting. Tell them we're done negotiating. The Volkovs want war. They can have it. Victor, think about this. Marco starts. I have thought about it. His voice could cut glass. They came into my home, threatened my daughter in front of witnesses. There's no negotiating after that. There's only consequences. He looks at me. Avery, I need you to take Sofia to a safe house. Tonight. You'll both stay there until this is resolved. Both? They've seen you now. Seen you protecting her. That makes you a target too. His expression softens slightly. I'm sorry. I never wanted you exposed to this directly, but circumstances have changed. What about Marcus? Already being moved to a secure location. He'll think it's a school trip we've arranged cover stories. He'll be safe, I promise. Everything is happening too fast. This morning I was a tutor practicing animal signs. Now I'm being relocated to a safe house because Russian mobsters threatened a 7-year-old. How long? I ask. Days, maybe a week. However long it takes to remind the Volkovs why you don't threaten a Marchetti's family and expect to survive. The casual way he discusses violence should horrify me. Instead, I'm thinking about Volkov's cold eyes, his calculated threat, the way he looked at Sofia like she was a tool, to be used. Okay, I hear myself say. I'll go pack. No need. Everything you need will be at the safe house. Victor moves closer, his expression intense. Avery, I need you to understand something. What's about to happen, it's not going to be clean or quiet. It's going to be war. And I'm going to win, but there will be casualties. Can you handle that? Can I handle knowing that people will die because a man threatened his daughter? Can I handle being complicit, even tangentially, in whatever violence Victor unleashes? I look at Sofia, small and scared, clinging to her father's leg. I think about her mother, killed by rivals trying to send a message. About Sofia hiding in a closet, losing her voice to trauma. Yes, I say firmly, I can handle it. Something like respect flashes in Victor's eyes. Good. Because you're family now. Really, truly family. Which means you're protected at all costs, but also means you see the darkness sometimes. Can you live with that? I've already been living with it for 3 weeks. I've already taken his money, already committed to his daughter, already crossed lines I can't uncross. I can live with it. The safe house is actually a lakefront estate, 40 minutes north of Chicago. It's smaller than the Gold Coast mansion, but still luxurious, with security that makes the main house look understaffed by comparison. Teresa comes with us, along with 3 guards I haven't met before. We arrive after dark. The house already prepared, Sofia's favorite foods in the kitchen, toys and books in her room, everything organized to minimize disruption. How long have you been planning this? I ask Victor as he walks through the house, checking security measures personally. Since the day I hired you, he admits. I always have contingency plans for Sofia's safety. Adding you to those plans was simple enough. You expected something like this to happen? I expected eventually someone would try to use Sofia against me. I just didn't expect it to be Volkov, or for it to happen during a peace negotiation. His expression hardens. That kind of disrespect demands a response. What kind of response? He looks at me for a long moment, clearly weighing how much truth I can handle, the kind that ensures no one ever threatens her again. That night, after Sofia is finally asleep tucked into an unfamiliar bed, clutching a stuffed bear she signed was "Brave like Butterfly," I find Victor in the study, on the phone speaking rapid Italian. When he hangs up, I ask the question I've been avoiding. Are you going to kill him? Volkov? Yes. No hesitation, no sugarcoating, Not immediately. First, I dismantle his operation piece by piece. Make an example of what happens when you threaten a Marchetti. Then, when he's broken and desperate, I'll finish it. I search for words. Brutal. It's necessary. He pours himself scotch, offers me one. I decline. In my world, Avery, there are rules. Unwritten but absolute. You don't harm children. You don't threaten families during peace negotiations. You don't enter a man's home and make him feel unsafe. Volkov violated all three. If I let that stand, I look weak, and weakness invites more attacks. So you escalate to violence to prevent future violence. Exactly. He takes a drink. It's not about revenge, though I won't pretend that's not part of it. It's about ensuring Sofia grows up in a world where people fear crossing her father enough that they don't try. That's the only safety I can give her. I sink into the leather chair across from him. My parents were killed by a drunk driver. He got 6 years, served 3 with good behavior. He's out now, living his life, while I'm raising my teenage brother and working 3 jobs to survive. The system failed us. Justice failed us. And if I offered to handle that driver, Victor asks quietly, to give you the justice the system couldn't? The question hangs in the way, air between us, dangerous and tempting. I'd say no, I answer finally, because that's not justice. That's revenge. And I'd have to live with knowing someone died because I wanted it. But you can live with knowing Volkov will die because he threatened Sofia? Yes, because that's not my choice. That's yours. I struggle for the right words. I'm just trying to protect a little girl who's already suffered too much. If being complicit in your world is the price for that, I'll pay it. Victor studies me with those intense dark eyes. You're stronger than you realize, Avery Blake. Or I've just reached the point where I'm too tired to keep fighting reality. He almost smiles. That's its own kind of strength. We sit in comfortable silence for a while, the weight of impossible choices settling around us like snow. Can I ask you something? I venture finally. Always. Do you ever regret it? This life? His expression grows distant. Every day. Every time I see Sofia flinch at loud noises. Every time I remember my wife dying because of my enemies. Every time someone like you gets pulled into danger they never asked for. He meets my eyes. But regret doesn't change anything. I am who I am. This is the world I inherited and shaped. The only thing I can do now is try to protect the people I love within it. And after, when Sofia's grown, when you've secured your territory and eliminated your enemies, there's always another enemy, he says wearily. Always another threat. That's why I'm trying to build legitimate businesses. Create a foundation for Sofia's future that doesn't require her to inherit my darkness. But that takes time. Years, probably decades. Will she ever be able to just live? Without guards and safe houses and constant fear? I don't know. The admission seems to cost him. God, I hope so. She deserves that. Deserves normal. But I can't promise it. My phone buzzes. A text from Marcus, sent from whatever secure location Victor's. People moved him to. This school trip is sick. 5-star hotel. Did you know about this? Why didn't you tell me I was going to basically camp in luxury? I smile despite everything. At least Marcus is having fun in witness protection. Victor looks at the message over my shoulder, his expression softening. He's a good kid. Smart, curious, kind. You've done well with him. I'm barely holding it together most days. That's parenting. Or sibling raising in your case. No one ever really knows what they're doing. We just do our best and hope it's enough. The vulnerability in his voice reminds me that for all his power and danger, Victor is fundamentally a father trying to protect his child. Just like I'm a sister trying to protect my brother. We're not so different, really. Just operating in different worlds with different resources. Except now our worlds have collided, and I'm not sure how to navigate the overlap. 3 days at the safe house establish a surreal routine. Sofia and I continue lessons. She's learning more complex signs now. Full sentences, even jokes. Dimitri comes daily with schoolwork. Teresa cooks elaborate Italian meals that Sofia and I eat while signing stories to each other. But underneath the normalcy runs constant tension. Victor visits each evening, and I can see the weight of whatever he's doing to the Volkovs in the lines around his eyes, the tightness in his jaw. On day 4, Marco arrives with news. It's handled, he tells Victor while I'm putting Sofia to bed in the next room. I'm not supposed to hear, but I do. Volkov's operation is dismantled. His people are scattered. He's hiding, but we'll find him within 48 hours. And the others? Victor asks. The other families? Standing down. Nobody wants to defend Volkov after what he did. They understand this is about rules, not territory. You have their support. Good. I tuck Sofia in, sign sweet dreams, and find Victor waiting in the hallway. It's almost over, he says quietly. 2 more days, maybe 3. Then you and Sofia can go home. Home meaning the Gold Coast house? Yes. With enhanced security, but home. He hesitates. Unless you want to walk away. I'd understand. I'd pay out your contract, arrange security for you and Marcus for as long as you need it. You could finish school without looking over your shoulder. It's a genuine offer. I can hear it in his voice. He'd let me go. No hard feelings, no threats. But I think about Sofia signing Butterfly with pure joy, about how she hugs me every afternoon, about the light coming back into her eyes as she discovers language again. I'm not walking away, I say firmly. Sofia needs consistency, especially after all this upheaval. I'm staying. Relief flashes across his face, quickly masked. Thank you. Besides, I add with a small smile, where else am I going to make $60 an hour while helping a sweet kid learn to communicate? Nowhere, he agrees. Because nowhere else has Sofia. That night, I can't sleep. I'm too wired from days of tension. Too aware of the violence being enacted in my name, not directly, but because protecting Sofia means protecting me by extension. I find Victor in the study at 2 a.m. Still on his phone, still coordinating whatever final moves will end this conflict. He looks up when I enter. Can't sleep? Too much adrenaline. Same. He gestures to the chair across from him. Keep me company while I wait for updates? I sit, pulling my knees to my chest. For a while, we're just quiet. The kind of comfortable silence that shouldn't exist between a tutor and her employer. But does. Thank you, I say finally, for protecting Marcus, for taking this seriously, for not making me choose between his safety and Sofia's. There was never a choice, Victor replies. Your family. That means everyone you love is under protection. Family. I repeat softly. You keep saying that, because I mean, his gaze is intense in the dim lighting. Family isn't always about blood, Avery. Sometimes it's about who shows up when things get dangerous, who stays when they could run, who protects what matters even when it costs them. Is that what I did? Stayed when I could run? Every day since you learned who I really am? He sets down his phone. You could have walked away after the background check revealed my connections. Could have left after the incident with Volkov. Could have taken the exit I just offered. But you're still here. For Sofia, I clarify, though it's not entirely true anymore. For Sofia. He agrees, letting me keep that fiction. But that loyalty to her, to my daughter, means more to me than you can possibly understand. Before I can respond, his phone rings. He answers in Italian, listens, then smiles coldly. Trovato, found, non lo perdere. Don't lose him. He hangs up and meets my eyes. They found Volkov. This ends tomorrow. Ends how? He gets a choice. Leave Chicago permanently, abandon all interests here, and live. Or refuse, and face consequences. His expression hardens. He won't choose to live. Men like him never do. Too much pride. And you'll kill him. Yes. Because he threatened Sofia. Because he threatened my family. All of it, you included. He stands, moves to the window overlooking the dark grounds. I won't apologize for what I am, Avery. Won't pretend the violence is justified by some higher purpose. It's simply the price of the world I inhabit. But I will apologize for pulling you into it. You gave me a choice. A choice made under financial desperation isn't really a choice. He's not wrong. 6 weeks ago, I would have taken any job that paid enough to keep Marcus fed. The fact that it came with moral complications was secondary to survival. But now, I chose to stay. I say quietly. After I knew who you were. After I understood the dangers. I chose Sofia. I chose this family. That's on me, not you. He turns from the window, something vulnerable in his expression. Why? Why did I stay? Why did I choose this life over safe poverty? Because Sofia deserves someone who sees her as a child, not a pawn. I answer honestly. Because Watching her learn to communicate again, watching her smile and play and feel safe enough to be happy that matters more than keeping my hands clean. Because I was drowning before you hired me, and your money means Marcus gets to eat and I get to finish school and we both get to breathe for the first time in 2 years. I stand, moving closer. And because you're not the monster everyone says you are. You're a father who loves his daughter desperately. A man trying to build something better even while trapped in the life he inherited. That's worth defending. Even if it means accepting the darkness that comes with it. The silence stretches between us, heavy with things neither of us is quite ready to say. You should sleep, Victor says finally. Tomorrow will be difficult. Will you sleep? Eventually. After this is finished. I should leave. Should retreat to my room and maintain whatever professional boundaries still exist. Instead, I ask, do you want company? While you wait? Something shifts in his expression, surprise, gratitude, and something else I can't quite name. Yes, he says simply. I would. We spend the next 3 hours in that study, sometimes talking, sometimes working in comfortable silence while he handles business and I grade some of Dimitri's assignments for Sofia. It feels strangely domestic, like we're just two people keeping each other company during a long night. At 5 a.m., his phone rings one final time. È fatto. It's done. He closes his eyes briefly. When he opens them, there's satisfaction mixed with weariness. Volkov refused to leave, he says. So he's been handled. The threat is eliminated. Handled, meaning dead. A man is dead because he threatened Victor's family. I should feel horror, should feel complicit in murder. Instead, I feel relief. Sofia's safe now, I say. Yes. And so are you. We return to the Gold Coast mansion 2 days later. Sofia is thrilled to be home, running from room to room, signing about how much she missed everything. Marcus texts that his school trip was amazing, and can he go on more of those? Life returns to our new normal tutoring sessions. Sofia's accelerating progress. Dinners where Victor actually sits and eats with us instead of working through meals. But something has changed. The crisis revealed that I'm not just an employee. I'm family. Protected, valued, trusted with knowledge that could destroy Victor if I ever chose to share it. On my first day back, Victor calls me into his office after Sofia's session. I've established a trust fund, he says without preamble, for your education and Marcus's. Full tuition through whatever degrees you want, plus living expenses. It's separate from your salary. This is about ensuring you're never in a position where financial desperation makes your choices for you again. I stare at him, speechless. I can't accept. Yes, you can. And you will. His tone leaves no room for argument. You've proven your loyalty to my family. This is how I protect mine, by making sure they never have to choose between survival and principles. Victor, that's too much. It's not enough. He stands, moves around the desk to face me directly. You stayed during a crisis, protected my daughter when you could have prioritized your own safety, accepted darkness you never wanted to see. This trust fund? It's the minimum I owe you. Tears sting my eyes. I didn't do it for money. I know. That's why you're getting it. He's close now. Close enough that I can see the fine lines around his eyes, the silver threading through his dark hair. You're family, Avery. Really, truly family. That means I take care of you. No conditions, no strings, just protection. And provision because that's what family does. I don't know what to say. Say you'll stay. Say you'll keep helping Sofia. Say you'll trust that I will always, always protect you and your brother. His voice drops lower, more intense. Say you'll let me do this. Please. The please breaks me. This powerful man, this crime lord who commands fear throughout Chicago, is genuinely asking for permission to help me. Okay, I whisper. Okay, I'll stay. I'll let you help. I trust you. Something raw flashes across his face. Relief, gratitude, and something deeper that makes my breath catch. Thank you, he says quietly. We stand there for a moment too long. The air between us charged with recognition that our relationship has shifted into territory neither of us quite knows how to navigate. Finally, I step back, breaking the spell. I should go. Marcus is expecting me for dinner. Dom will drive you. Victor, I can take the bus. No. Firm, absolute, never again. You're too important. Important. The word echoes in my mind the whole drive home. Week 6 brings Sofia's breakthrough. We're working on emotional vocabulary, complex feelings like frustrated and proud and hopeful, when Sofia suddenly stops signing. Her mouth opens, closes, opens again. Thank. The word is barely a whisper, rusty and uncertain. You. I freeze, hardly daring to breathe. Sofia, I sign, my hands shaking. Did you just... Thank you. She says again, louder this time. The words are careful, deliberate, like she's testing each syllable. Miss Avery, thank you. Tears pour down my face. Sofia, you're talking. Talking. She repeats, then smiles a huge, brilliant smile that lights her entire face. I'm talking. I pull her into a hug, both of us crying and laughing. Teresa appears in the doorway, drawn by the commotion, and immediately starts crying too. Get Victor, I tell her. Get him now. 5 minutes later, Victor bursts into the room like the house is on fire. What happened? Is Sofia? Papa. Sofia says clearly. Speaking, not signing. I can talk now. Miss Avery helped me. Victor goes absolutely still. His eyes fill with tears he doesn't try to hide. Say it again, Piccola. Please. I love you, Papa, Sofia says, her voice getting stronger with each word. I'm sorry I couldn't talk before. I was too scared. But Miss Avery made me brave. Victor drops to his knees, pulling Sofia into his arms, his shoulders shaking with silent sobs. I've never seen him cry before, didn't think he was capable of it. I love you so much, he whispers against her hair. So much, baby girl. I thought I'd never hear your voice again. They stay like that for long minutes, father and daughter, healing together from wounds that ran too deep for anyone to see. When Victor finally stands, he looks at me with an expression I can't fully interpret. Gratitude, awe, something that feels dangerously close to devotion. You gave her back to me, he says, voice rough with emotion. You gave me my daughter back. She did it herself, I insist. I just gave her tools. The courage was always hers. But you helped her find it. He moves closer. Avery, I can never repay this. Never truly thank you enough for what you've done. You don't need to. I do. Because you've given me something I thought was lost forever. My daughter's voice. Her laughter. Her joy. His hand comes up, cupping my face with surprising gentleness. You've given me hope that she can heal. That we both can. The touch sends electricity through me. We're standing too close. The air between us charged with something that's been building for weeks, but neither of us has acknowledged. Victor. Miss Avery. Sofia interrupts, pulling on my sleeve. Can we call Marcus? I want him to hear me talk. The moment breaks. Victor steps back, composure restored, though his eyes still hold heat that makes my pulse race. Of course, I say, grateful for the interruption. Let's call Marcus right now. That evening, after Sofia has told everyone in the household about her breakthrough at least 3 times, after she's called Dimitri and Marco and anyone else she can think of, Victor asks me to stay for dinner. Not unusual, I often eat with them now. But tonight feels different, charged. After Sofia goes to bed, exhausted from the excitement, Victor pours wine and leads me to the library. I need to tell you something, he says, and there's vulnerability in his voice I've never heard before. Something I should have said weeks ago but couldn't find the words. My heart hammers. What is it? You came into my life as an employee, someone to help my daughter, nothing more. But somewhere along the way, you became essential. Not just to Sofia, but to me. He sets down his wine, moves closer. You see me, Avery. Not the reputation, or the power, or the danger. You see the man trying desperately to be a good father. The man who wants better but doesn't know how to achieve it without destroying everything he's built. Victor. Let me finish. His hand finds mine. I know this is complicated. I know I have no right to feel what I feel for you. You're young, brilliant, have your whole future ahead of you. You deserve better than a man whose hands are stained with blood, whose world brings nothing but danger. What are you saying? I whisper. I'm saying that I'm falling for you, he admits, each word careful and deliberate. I'm saying that watching you with Sofia, seeing your kindness and strength and absolute refusal to be intimidated by my world, it's made me want things I thought I'd never want again. Made me hope for a future I don't deserve. My breath catches. Victor, tell me to stop, he interrupts, voice rough. Tell me I'm wrong to feel this way. Tell me to maintain professional boundaries and never speak of this again. I'll do it. I'll bury everything and we'll go back to how things were. I should say exactly that. Should recognize that falling for Victor Marchetti, mob boss, widower, man whose life is built on violence, is the worst decision I could possibly make. But I think about the past 6 weeks, about how he's protected Marcus without being asked, about Sofia's breakthrough and the tears in his eyes, about late nights in his study, comfortable silence and unexpected vulnerability, about the way he looks at me like I'm something precious and rare. What if I don't want to go back? I hear myself say. Hope flares in his eyes, quickly tempered by caution. Then where do we go from here? I don't know, I admit honestly. This is complicated and probably inadvisable and definitely something I never planned. But I take a breath. I care about you, both of you. Somewhere along the way, this stopped being a job and became something I can't quite name, something important. Avery. My name is a prayer, a plea. I need you to be sure. Once you choose this, choose me, there's no easy way back. My world doesn't release people gently. I know. I've seen enough to understand what I'd be choosing. I step closer, closing the distance between us. And I'm choosing it anyway. Choosing you. Choosing this family. Why? His voice breaks slightly. Why would you choose darkness when you could have normal? Safe? Because darkness with you feels safer than normal with anyone else. I answer truthfully. Because I trust you to protect what matters. Because Sofia needs us both, and I'm not walking away from her. And because I meet his eyes directly. Because when I'm with you, I don't feel like I'm drowning anymore. I feel like I can finally breathe. Victor closes the remaining distance, his hand coming up to cup my face. I will protect you, he promises, voice fierce. You and Marcus and Sofia. I will use every resource, every connection, every ounce of power I have to keep you all safe. That's my oath to you. I know. And I will try to be worthy of this gift you're giving me. I can't promise perfect. I can't promise my world won't touch you with ugliness sometimes. But I promise I will always, always prioritize your well-being and happiness above everything except Sofia's safety. Victor. I lean into his touch. Stop talking and kiss me. He does. The kiss is gentle at first, tentative, like he's afraid I might shatter. But when I press closer, when my hands slide up to his shoulders, something shifts. The kiss deepens, becomes hungry and desperate, and full of weeks of denied want. When we finally break apart, both breathing hard, he rests his forehead against mine. This changes everything, he murmurs. I know. Are you sure? Really? Truly sure? Instead of answering with words, I kiss him again. This time, there's no hesitation. No doubt. Just certainty that this dangerous, complicated man is exactly where I'm supposed to be. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you loved this story, check out the other videos on your screen now. I think you'll really enjoy them. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next story.